right, we are going to continue in our Bible reading out of the Old Testament. We are reading in the book of Job. We're in chapter 21. And I am reading out of the 1560 Geneva Bible. Job, chapter 21. It is written. But Job answered and said, Hear diligently my words, and this shall be instead of your consolations. Suffer me that I may speak, and when I have spoken, mock on. Do I direct my talk to man? If it were so, how should not my spirit be troubled? Mark me, and be abashed, and lay your hand upon your mouth. Even when I remember, I am afraid, and fear taketh hold on my flesh. Wherefore do the wicked live, and wax old, and grow in wealth? Their seed is established in their sight with them, and their generation before their eyes. Their houses are peaceable without fear, and the rod of God is not upon them. Their bullock gendereth, and faileth not. Their cow calveth, and casteth not her calf. They send forth their children like sheep, and their sons dance. They take the tabret and harp, and rejoice in the sound of the organs. They spend their days in wealth, and suddenly they go down to the grave. They say also unto God, Depart from us, for we desire not the knowledge of thy ways. Who is the Almighty, that we should serve him? And what profit should we have if we should pray unto him? Lo, their wealth is not in their hand, therefore let the counsel of the wicked be far from me. How oft shall the candle of the wicked be put out, and their destruction come upon them? He will divide their lives in his wrath. They shall be as stubble before the wind, and as chaff that the storm carrieth away. God will lay up the sorrow of the father for his children. When he rewardeth him, he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. For what pleasure hath he in his house after him, when the number of his months is cut off? Shall any teach God knowledge, who judgeth the highest things? One dieth in his full strength, being in all ease and prosperity. His breasts are full of milk, and his bones run full of marrow. And another dieth in the bitterness of his soul, and never eateth with pleasure. They shall sleep both in the dust, and the worms shall cover them. Behold, I know your thoughts, and the enterprises wherewith ye do me wrong. For ye say, Where is the prince's house, and where is the tabernacle of the wicked's dwelling? May ye not ask thee that go by the way, and ye cannot deny their signs? But the wicked is kept unto the day of destruction, and they shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. Who shall declare his way to his face, and who shall reward him for that he hath done? Yet shall he be brought to the grave, and remain in the heap. The slimy valley shall be sweet unto him, and every man shall draw after him. As before him there were innumerable. How then comfort ye me in vain, seeing in your answers there remain but lies? Woo-hoo. Okay, he's telling them now. Job chapter 22. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, May a man be profitable unto God, as he that is wise may be profitable to himself? Is it anything unto the Almighty that thou art righteous, or is it profitable to him that thou makest thy ways upright? Is it for fear of thee that he will accuse thee, or go with thee into judgment? Is not thy wickedness great, and thine iniquities innumerable? For thou hast taken the pledge from thy brother for naught, and spoiled the clothes of the naked. To such as were weary, thou hast not given water to drink, and hast withdrawn bread from the hungry. But the mighty man had the earth, and he that was in authority dwelt in it. Thou hast cast out widows empty, and the arms of the fatherless were broken. Therefore snares are round about thee, and fear shall suddenly trouble thee. Or darkness that thou shouldest not see, and abundance of water shall cover thee. Is not God on high in the heaven? And behold the height of the stars, how high they are. But thou sayest, how should God know? Can he judge through the dark cloud? The clouds hide him that he cannot see, and he walketh in the circle of heaven. Hast thou marked the way of the world, wherein wicked men have walked, which were cut down before the time, whose foundation was as a river that overflowed? Which say unto God, depart from us, and asked what the Almighty could do for them. Yet he filled their houses with good things, but let the counsel of the wicked be far from me. The righteous shall see them, and shall rejoice, and the innocent shall laugh them to scorn. Surely our substance is hid, but the fire hath devoured the remnant of them. Therefore acquaint thyself, I pray thee, with him, and make peace. Thereby thou shalt have prosperity. Receive, I pray thee, the law of his mouth, and lay up his words in thine heart. But he is really accusative, isn't he? Job was a bad person. That's amazing. Receive, I pray thee, the law of his mouth, and lay up his words in thine heart. If thou return to the Almighty, thou shalt be built up, and thou shalt put iniquity far from thy tabernacle. Thou shalt lay up gold for dust, and the gold of Ophir as the flints of the rivers. Yea, the Almighty shall be thy defense, and thou shalt have plenty of silver. And thou shalt then delight in the Almighty, and lift up thy face unto God. Thou shalt make thy prayer unto him, and he shall hear thee, and thou shalt render thy woes. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and he shall establish it unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. When others are cast down, then shalt thou say, I am lifted up, and God shall save the humble person. The innocent shall deliver the island, and it shall be preserved by the pureness of thine hands. Chapter 23. But Job answered and said, though my talk be this day in bitterness, my plague greater than my groaning, would God yet I knew how to find him. I would enter unto his place. I would please the cause before him, and fill my mouth with arguments. I would know the words that he would answer me, and would understand what he would say unto me. Would he plead against me with great power? No, but he would put strength in me. There the righteous might reason with him, so I should be delivered forever from my judge. Behold, if I go to the east, he is not there. If I go to the west, yet I cannot perceive him. If to the north, where he worketh, yet I cannot see him. He will hide himself in the south, and cannot behold him. But he knoweth my way, and trieth me, and I shall come forth like the gold. My foot hath followed his steps, his way have I kept, and have not declined. Neither have I departed from the commandment of his lips, and I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than mine appointed food. Yet he is one mind, who can turn him? Yea, he doth what his mind desireth. For he will perform that which is decreed of me, and many such things are with him. Therefore I am troubled at his presence, and in concerning it I am afraid of him. For God hath softened mine heart, and the Almighty hath troubled me. For I am not cut off in darkness, but he hath hid the darkness from my face. Chapter 24. How should not the times be hid from the Almighty, seeing that they which know him see not his days? Some remove the landmarks that rob the flocks and feed thereof. They lead away the ass of the fatherless, and take the widow's ox to pledge. They make the poor to turn out of the way, so that the poor of the earth hid themselves together. Behold, others, as wild asses in the wilderness, go forth to their business, and rise early for a prey. The wilderness giveth him and his children food. They reap his provision in the field, but they gather the late vintage of the wicked. They cause the naked to lodge without garment, and without covering in the cold. They are wet with the showers of the mountains, and they embrace the rock for want of a covering. They pluck the fatherless from the breast and take the pledge of the poor. They cause him to go naked without clothing and take the gleaning from the hungry. They that make oil between their walls and tread their wine presses suffer thirst. Men cry out of the city, and the souls of the slain cry out. Yet God doth not charge them with folly. These are they that abhor the light. They know not the ways thereof, nor continue in the paths thereof. The murderer riseth early, and killeth the poor and the needy, and in the night he is as a thief. The eye also of the adulterer waiteth for the twilight, and saith, None eye shall see me, and disguiseth his face. They dig through houses in the dark, which they marked for themselves in the day. They know not the light, but the morning is even to them as the shadow of death. If one know them, they are in the terrors of the shadow of death. He is swift upon the waters. Their portion shall be cursed in the earth. He will not behold the way of the vineyards. As a dry ground and heat consume the snow waters, so shall the graves the sinners. The pitiful man shall forget him. The worm shall feel his sweetness. He shall be no more remembered, and the wicked shall be broke like a tree. He doth evil, entreat ye barren. He doeth evil, no, doth evil, entreat ye barren, that doeth not bear, neither doeth he good to the widow. He draweth also the mighty by his power, and when he riseth up, none is sure of life. Though men give him assurance to be in safety, yet his eyes are upon their ways. They are exalted for a little, but they are gone, and are brought low as all others. They are destroyed, and cut off as the top of an ear of corn. But if it be not so, where is he? Or who will prove me a liar, and make my words of no value? Chapter 25. Then answered Bildad the Shuhite and said, Power and fear is with him that maketh peace in his high places. Is there any number in his armies? And upon whom shall not his light arise? And how may a man be justified with God? Or how can he be clean that is born of woman? Behold, he will give no light to the moon, and the stars are unclean in his sight. How much more man, a worm, even the Son of Man, which is but a worm? Chapter 26. But Job answered and said, Whom helpest thou? Him that hath no power? Savest thou the arm that hath no strength? Whom counselest thou? Him that hath no wisdom? Thou shouldest right well as the thing is. To whom dost thou declare these words? Or whose spirit cometh out of thee? The dead things are formed under the waters, and near unto them. The grave is naked before him, and there is no covering for destruction. He stretcheth out the north over the empty place, and hangeth the earth upon nothing. He bindeth the waters in his clouds, and the cloud is not broken under them. He holdeth back the face of his throne, and spreadeth his cloud upon it. He hath set bounds about the waters, until the day and night come to an end. The pillars of heaven tremble and quake at his reproof. The sea is calm by his power, and by his understanding he smiteth the pride thereof. His spirit hath garnished the heavens, and his hand hath formed the crooked serpent. Lo, these are parts of his ways, but how little a portion hear we of him, and who can understand his fearful power? Chapter 27. Moreover, Job proceeded and continued his parable, saying, The living God hath taken away my judgment, for the Almighty hath put my soul in bitterness. Yet so long as my breath is in me, the Spirit of God in my nostrils, my lips surely shall speak no wickedness, and my tongue shall utter no deceit. God forbid that I should justify you until I die. I will never take away mine innocency from myself. I will keep my righteousness and will not forsake it. Mine heart shall not reprove me of my days. Mine enemy shall be as the wicked, and he that riseth against me as the unrighteous. For what hope hath the hypocrite when he hath heaped up riches, if God take away his soul? Will God hear his cry when trouble cometh upon him? Will he set his delight on the Almighty? Will he call upon God at all times? I will teach you what is in the hand of God, and I will not conceal that which is with the Almighty. Behold, all ye yourselves have seen it. Why then do you thus vanish in vanity? This is the portion of a wicked man with God, and the heritage of tyrants, which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be in great number, the sword shall destroy them, and his posterity shall not be satisfied with bread. His remnant shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. Though he should heap up silver as the dust, and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. He buildeth his house as the moth, and as a lodge that the watchman maketh. When the rich man sleepeth, he shall not be gathered to his fathers. They opened their eyes, and he was gone. Terrors shall take him as waters, and a tempest shall carry him away by night. The east wind shall take him away, and he shall depart, and it shall hurl him out of his place. And God shall cast upon him, and not spare, though he would fain flee out of his hand. Every man shall clap their hands at him, and hiss at him out of their place. Chapter 28. The silver surely hath his vein, and ye gold his place where they take it. Iron is taken out of the dust, and brass is molden out of the stone. God putteth an end to darkness, and he trieth the perfection of all things. He setteth a bond of darkness and of the shadow of death. The flood breaketh out against the inhabitant, and the waters forgotten of the foot, being higher than men, are gone away. Out of the same earth cometh bread, and under it, as it were fire, is turned up. The stones thereof are a place of sapphires, and the dust of it is gold. There is a path which no fowl hath known, neither hath the kite's eye seen it. The lion's whelp have not walked it, nor the lion passed thereby. He putteth his hand upon the rocks, and overthroweth the mountains by the roots. He breaketh rivers in the rocks, and his eye seeth every precious thing. He bindeth the floods, that they do not overflow, and the thing that is hid bringeth he to light. But where is wisdom found, and where is the place of understanding? Man knoweth not the price thereof, for it is not found in the land of the living. The depth saith, it is not in me. The sea also saith, it is not with me. Gold shall not be given for it, neither shall silver be weighed for the price thereof. It shall not be valued with the wedge of gold of Ophir, nor with the precious onyx, nor the sapphire. The gold nor the crystal shall be equal unto it, nor the exchange shall be for a plate of fine gold. No mention shall be made of coral, nor of the gabbish, for wisdom is more precious than pearls. The topaz of Ethiopia shall not be equal unto it, neither shall it be valued with the wedge of pure gold. Whence then cometh wisdom, and where is the place of understanding? Seeing it is hid from the eyes of all the living, and is hid from the fowls of the heaven. Destruction and death say, we have heard the same thereof with our ears. But God understandeth the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof. For he beholdeth the ends of the world, and seeth all that is under heaven, to make the weight of the winds, and to weigh the waters by measure. When he made a decree for the rain, and a way for the lightning of the thunders, then did he see it, and counted it. He prepared it, and also considered it. And unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. Chapter 29. So Job proceeded and continued his parable, saying, Oh, that I were as in times past, when God preserved me, when his light shined upon mine head, and when by his light I walked through the darkness, as I was in the days of my youth, when God's providence was upon my tabernacle, when the Almighty was yet with me, and my children round about me, when I washed my paths with butter, and when the rock poured me out of rivers of oil, when I went out to the gate, even to the judgment seat, and when I caused them to prepare my seat in the street. The young men saw me and hid themselves, and the aged arose and stood up. The princes stayed, talked, and laid their hand on their mouth. The voice of princes was hid, and their tongue cleaved to the roof of their mouth. And when the ear heard me, it blessed me. And when the eye saw me, it gave witness to me. For I delivered the poor that cried, and the fatherless, and him that had none to help him. The blessing of him that was ready to perish came upon me, and I caused the widow's heart to rejoice. I put on justice, and it covered me. My judgment was as robe and a crown, was as a robe and a crown. I was the eyes to the blind, and I was the feet to the lame. I was a father unto the poor, and when I knew not the cause, I sought it out diligently. I break also the jaws of the unrighteous man, and pluck the prayer out of his teeth. Then I said, I shall die in my nest. I shall multiply my days as the sand. For my root is spread out by the water, and the dew shall lie upon my branch. My glory shall renew toward me, and my bow shall be restored in mine hand. Unto me men gave ear and waited, and held their tongue at my counsel. After my words they replied not, and my talk dropped upon them. And they waited for me as for the rain, and they opened their mouth as for the latter rain. If I laughed on them, they believed it not, neither did they cause the light of my countenance to fall. I appointed out their way, and did sit as chief, and dwelt as a king in the army, and like him that comforteth the mourners. Chapter 30. But now that they are younger than I, mock me. Yea, they whose fathers I have refused to set with the dogs of my flocks. For whereto should the strength of their hands have served me, seeing age perished in them? For poverty and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, which is dark, desolate, and waste. They cut up nettles by the bushes, and the juniper roots was their meat. They were chased forth from among men. They shouted at them as at a thief. Therefore they dwelt in the clefts of rivers, in the holes of the earth and rocks. They roared among the bushes, and under the thistles they gathered themselves. They were the children of fools, and the children of villains, which were more vile than the earth. And now am I their song? Am I their talk? They abhor me, and flee far from me, and spare not to spit in my face. Because that God hath loosed my cord and humbled me, they have loosed the bridle before me. The youth rise up at my right hand. They have pushed my feet, and have trod on me as on the paths of their destruction. They have destroyed my paths. They took pleasure at my calamity. They had none help. They came as a great breach of waters, and under this calamity they come on heaps. Fear is turned upon me, and they pursue my soul as the wind, and mine health passes away as a cloud. Therefore my soul is now poured out upon me, and the days of affliction have taken hold on me. It pierceth my bones in the night, and my sinews take no rest. For the great vehemency is my garment changed, which compasseth me about as the collar of my coat, or color, I think that's color, as the color of my coat. He hath cast me into the mire, and I am become like ashes and dust. When I cry unto thee, thou dost not hear me, neither regardest me when I stand up. Thou turnest thyself cruelly against me, and art enemy unto me with the strength of thine hand. Thou takest me up, and causest me to ride upon the wind, and maketh my strength to fail. Surely I know that thou wilt bring me to death, and to the house appointed for all the living. Doubtless none can stretch his hand unto the grave, though they cry in his destruction. Do not I weep with him that was in trouble? Was not my soul in heaviness for the poor? And yet, when I looked for good, evil came unto me. And when I waited for light, there came darkness. My bowels did boil without rest, for the days of affliction are come upon me. I went mourning without sun. I stood up in the congregation and cried, I am a brother to the dragons and a companion to the ostriches. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burnt with heat. Therefore mine harp is turned to mourning, and mine organs into the voice of them that weep. Chapter 31. I made a covenant with mine eyes. Why then should I think on a maid? For what portion should I have of God from above, and what inheritance of the Almighty from on high? I said that wrong. And what inheritance of the Almighty from on high? Is not destruction to the wicked and strange punishment to the workers of iniquity? Doth he or doeth not he behold my ways and tell all my steps? If I have walked in vanity, or if my foot hath made haste to deceit, let God weigh me in the just balance, and he shall know mine uprightness. If my step hath turned out of the way, or mine heart hath walked after mine eye, or if any blot hath cleaved to mine hands, let me sow, and let another eat. Yea, let my plants be rooted out. If mine heart hath been deceived by a woman, or if I have laid wait at the door of my neighbor, let my wife grind unto another man, and let other men bow down upon her. For this is a wickedness and iniquity to be condemned. Yea, this is a fire that shall devour to destruction, and which shall root out all mine increase. If I did contend the judgment of my servant and of my maiden, then why and when did they contend with me? What then shall I do when God standeth up, and when he shall visit me? What shall I answer? He that hath made me in the womb, hath he not made him? Hath not he alone fashioned us in the womb? If I restrain the poor of their desire, or have caused the eyes of the widow to fail, or have eaten my morsels alone, and the fatherless hath not eaten thereof. For from my youth he hath grown up with me as with a father, and from my mother's womb I have been a guide unto her. For if I have seen any perish for want of clothing, or any poor without covering, if his loins have not blessed me because he was warmed with the fleece of my sheep, if I have lifted up mine hands against the fatherless, when I saw that I might help him in the gate, let mine arm fall from my shoulder, and mine arm be broken from the bone. For God's punishment was fearful unto me, and I could not be delivered from his highness. If I made gold mine hope, or have said to the wedge of gold, thou art my confidence. If I rejoiced because my substance was great, or because mine hand had gotten much. If I did behold the sun when it shined, or the moon walking in her brightness. If mine heart did flatter me in secret, or if my mouth did kiss mine hand. This also had been an iniquity to be condemned, for I had denied the God above. If I rejoiced at his destruction that hated me, or what moved to joy when evil came upon him, neither have I suffered my mouth to sin by wishing a curse unto his soul. Did not the men of my tabernacle say, who shall give us of his flesh? We cannot be satisfied. The stranger did not lodge in the street, but I opened my doors unto him that went by the way. If I have hid my sin as Adam, concealing mine iniquity in my bosom, though I could have made afraid a great multitude, yet the most contemptible of the families did fear me. So I kept silence, and went not out of the door. Oh, that I had some to hear me! Behold my sign that the Almighty will witness for me. Though mine adversary should write a book against me, would not I take it upon my shoulder, and bind it as a crown unto me? I will tell him the number of my goings, and go unto him as to a prince. If my land cry against me, or the furrows thereof complain together, if I have eaten the fruit thereof without silver, or if I have grieved the souls of the masters thereof, let thistles grow instead of wheat, and cockle instead of barley. The words of Job are ended. Ooh, chapter 32. So these three men ceased to answer Job because he esteemed himself just. Then the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barachel the Buzite, the family of Ram, was kindled. His wrath, I say, was kindled against Job, because he justified himself more than God. Also his anger was kindled against his three friends, because they could not find an answer, and yet condemned Job. Now Elihu had waited till Job had spoken, for they were more ancient in years than he. So when Elihu saw that there was none answered in the mouth of the three men, his wrath was kindled. Therefore Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young in years, and ye are ancient. Therefore I doubted, and was afraid to show you mine opinion. For I said, the days shall speak, and the multitude of years shall teach wisdom. Surely there is a spirit in man, but the inspiration of the Almighty giveth understanding. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged always understand judgment. Therefore I say, hear me, and I will show also mine opinion. Behold, I did wait upon your words, and hearken unto your knowledge, while you sought out reasons. Yea, when I had considered you, lo, there was none of you that reproved Job, nor answered his words, lest ye should say, no, lest ye should say, we have found wisdom, for God hath cast him down, and no man. Yet hath he not directed his words to me, neither will I answer him by your words. Then they, fearing, answered no more, but left off their talk. When I had waited, for they spake not, but stood still and answered no more, then answered I in my turn, I shewed mine opinion. For I am full of matter, and the spirit within me compelleth me. Behold, my belly is as the wine, which hath no vent, and like the new bottles they brast. Therefore will I speak, that I may take breath. I will open my lips, and will answer. I will not now accept the person of man, neither will I give titles to man. For I may not give titles, lest my Maker should take me away suddenly. Chapter 33. Therefore, Job, I pray thee, hear my talk, and hearken unto all my words. Behold, now I have opened my mouth, my tongue hath spoken in my mouth. My words are in the uprightness of mine heart, and my lips shall speak pure knowledge. The Spirit of God hath made me, and the Spirit of the Almighty hath given me life. If thou canst give me an answer, prepare thyself, and stand before me. Behold, I am according to thy wish in God's stead. I am also formed of the clay. Behold, my terror shall not fear thee, neither shall mine hand be heavy upon thee. Doubtless thou hast spoken in mine ears, and I have heard the voice of thy words. I am clean without sin, I am innocent, and there is none iniquity in me. Lo, he hath found occasions against me, and counted me for his enemy. He hath put my feet in the stocks, and looketh narrowly unto all my paths. Behold, this hast thou not done right. I will answer thee that God is greater than man. Why dost thou strive against him? For he doth not give account of all his matters. For God speaketh once or twice, and one seeth it not. In dreams and visions of the night, when sleep falleth upon men, they sleep upon their beds. Then he openeth the ears of men, even by their corrections which he had sealed, that he might cause man to turn away from his enterprise, and that he might hide the pride of man, and keep back his soul from the pit, and that his life should not pass by the sword. He is also stricken with sorrow upon his bed, and the grief of his bones is sore, so that his life causes him to abhor bread, and his soul dainty meat. His flesh faileth that it cannot be seen, and his bones which were not seen clatter. So his soul draweth to the grave, and his life to the barriers. If there be a messenger with him, or an interpreter, one of 1,000 to declare unto man his righteousness, then will he have mercy upon him, and will say, deliver him, that he go not down into the pit. for I have received a reconciliation. Then shall his flesh be as fresh as a child's, and shall return as in the days of his youth. He shall pray unto God, and he will be favorable unto him. He shall see his face with joy, for he will render unto man his righteousness. He looked upon men, and if one say, I have sinned and perverted righteousness, and it did not profit me, he will deliver his soul from going into the pit, and his life shall see the light. Lo, all these things will God work twice or thrice with a man, that he may turn back his soul from the pit to be illuminate in the light of the living. Mark well, O Job, and hear me. Keep silence, and I will speak. If there be matter, answer me, and speak, for I desire to justify thee. If thou hast not, hear me. Hold thy tongue, and I will teach thee wisdom. This is a young fella, remember that. So he's kind of, I don't know, kind of arrogant if you ask me, but that's just my opinion. Job chapter 34. Moreover, Elihu answered and said, Hear my words, ye wise men, and hearken unto me, ye that have knowledge. For the ear trieth the words, as the mouth tasteth meat. Let us seek judgment among us, and let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job hath said, I am righteous, and God hath taken away my judgment. Should I lie in my right? My wound of the arrow is grievous without my sin. What man is like Job, that drinketh scornfulness like water, which goeth in the company of them that work iniquity, and walketh with wicked men? For he hath said, It profiteth a man nothing that he should walk with God. Therefore hearken unto me, ye men of wisdom. God forbid that wickedness should be in God, and iniquity in the Almighty. For he will render unto man according to his work, and cause every man to find according to his way. And certainly God will not do wickedly, neither will the Almighty pervert judgment. Whom hath he appointed over the earth beside himself? Or who hath placed the whole world? If he set his heart upon man, and gather unto himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh shall perish together, and man shall return unto dust. And if thou hast understanding, hear this, and hearken to the voice of my words. Shall he that hateth judgment govern? And wilt thou judge him wicked that is most just? Wilt thou say unto a king, Thou art wicked, or to princes, Ye are ungodly? Much less to him that accepteth not the persons of princes, and regardeth not the rich more than the poor, for they be all the work of his hands. They shall die suddenly, and people shall be troubled at midnight, and they shall pass forth and take away the mighty without hand. For his eyes are upon the ways of man, and he seeth all his goings. There is no darkness nor shadow of death, that the workers of iniquity might be hid therein. For he will not lay on man so much that he should either enter into judgment with God. He shall break the mighty without seeking, and shall set up other in their stead. Therefore shall he declare their works. He shall turn the night, and they shall be destroyed. He striketh them as wicked men in the places of the seers, because they have turned back from him, and would not consider all his ways, so that they have caused the voice of the poor to come unto him, and he hath heard the cry of the afflicted. And when he giveth quietness, who can make trouble? And when he hideth his face, who can behold him, whether it be upon nations or upon a man only? Because the hypocrite doth reign, and because the people are snared. Surely it appertaineth unto God to say, I have pardoned, I will not destroy. But if I see not, teach thou me. If I have done wickedly, I will do no more. Will he perform the thing through thee? For thou hast reproved it, because thou hast chosen, and not I, because thou hast chosen, and not I. Now speak what thou knowest. Let men of understanding tell me, and let a wise man hearken unto me. Job hath not spoken of knowledge, neither were his words according to wisdom. I desire that Job may be tried unto the end of touching the answers for wicked men. For he addeth rebellion unto his sin. He clappeth his hands among us, and multiplieth his words against God. Wow. I don't know what to say about that, Elihu, but I'm going to end that there, guys, and we will pick it up hopefully tomorrow. That is my plan. I do have to do that baloney. I'm very excited about that adventure. So, until next time, keep your eyes on Jesus and your nose in the book, which is the Word of God. And let us embed the Word of God upon the tablets of our hearts, so you and I will not sin against God or be deceived. I love y'all. Bye-bye.